Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, whichever's more convenient, depending on where you are and how you are. My name is Salim, and I am joined with a couple of interesting people. Sarah Seaholm from Refresh, Ollie Ellis, also from Refresh, Ali Irtiza, also from Refresh. So you've got four Refresh highly experienced professionals on the call today. We are here to answer any questions that you may have after we finish this beautiful webinar, which I hope you will enjoy. And let's just get into it. Before we start, I would like to simply ask if any of the attendants have done any renovations before. Have you done any sort of renovation? If so, please write it in the chat so that I can just understand what is the background of those who are with us today and whether they have any experience in renovation. That will allow us to drive the conversation through. So today we welcome you to the Refresh webinar. Refresh Renovations is a global company with local expertise, and we're here to make sure that you make yourself a home. Today, we're going to talk specifically about how to fast track your renovation before autumn begins. We are in the middle of the summer, and it's very nice and sunny, and everybody wants to enjoy their summer. But then again, there comes a time where it's not going to become as sunny, and then we will be able to maybe somehow think about what's going to happen to our kitchens, to our bathrooms, to our gardens. And so anticipating that from now would be a very good idea. Today, we are going to talk about a number of issues that may be relevant to some, and some may be relevant to others. We're talking about a case study that would be relevant to homeowners and why they get stuck. That will take 5 minutes. And then what happens if we wait too long, the common renovation roadblocks. And then we're going to talk about 5 key fast track tips that would allow us to smoothly go into the renovation. And then talk about what is the right time? What is the right time to do renovation? Is there a right time? And then at the end, we'll take some questions and we'll do some closing remark. We are very much happy to have you all, and we stress on the fact that we are here to help you make yourself a home. What's in it for you? Why are we hosting this? Well, we are hosting this webinar to empower homeowners with a clear, stress-free path to renovating smarter. Renovating smarter with confidence and clarity, and supporting you all the way through. Who is this for? This is for homeowners who are thinking about improving their property and extending it. It is for families that are trying to live, that are tired of living in cramped spaces, that want to expand their space, and anyone who wants to start planning and designing their homes and want to understand more about permissions. What we will learn today, and I will learn about you, and you will learn more about what we talk about, is why homeowners get stuck when planning and renovation, and what are the key steps to fast track your renovation before autumn, as well as how to avoid costly delays and decision fatigue. For the next slide, I would like to hand over to my colleague Ali, who's going to talk about Emma and James' story. Ali? Can you hear me, Ali?
Yes, I can hear you. I think there was a brief cut off. Thank you very much, Salim. Thanks for the introduction.
You're welcome.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ali Irtaza, and I'm based in West London for Refresh Renovations. So a lot of customers approach us, but I think this particular story would capture what we generally or mostly hear from our clients. So Emma and James are homeowners of a 3-bedroom Edwardian semi-detached house. And as with busy professionals, life gets busy and other priorities take over with work, planning for the kids, and renovation takes a backstage. Plus, when they start thinking about renovating their home, they don't know where to start. There are, all sorts of information they are getting from their circle of friends and family, and some of them are horror stories of how the renovation went terribly wrong. So ultimately, they need help. They need expert help so that they can understand what are the costs associated, and how to actually get to their vision, deliver their vision in a very stress-free manner. So we'll explore this story and we'll take you along their journey of working with us. Next slide, please. Now, our first challenge is to understand the client's vision. And the problem that Em and James have are that they're expecting their second baby. And they, in a way, they have a deadline now, because they must get the kitchen completed, which is a pain point in the house. It's an older kitchen. They want to renovate it, but it has to be done before the arrival of the baby. So all of the planning, the decision making, and the execution has to happen within a specific period of time. So that's the challenge. On the right hand side, you will see an existing floor plan of what the house looks like, and where the current kitchen sits. And we'll show you some more photos as we move forward. Next slide, please. Salim, please. Yes. So this is what the existing kitchen is, and we will have some photos towards the end, but a typical style of a kitchen with units on both sides, but possibly not enough storage space or not the right color choice. So lots of different decisions for the client to take. Next slide, please. Generally, if the questions had to be put into separate buckets, one of them is that if you're doing changes in the house, which of those changes would actually need planning permission? And then subsequent to that is which of those changes might need building control? And again, when we work with clients, we help them resolve these queries. If either we would have the answer from our panel of architects and designers already. If not, we would engage with the council to get the right piece of information for them and update them. Second part, of course, is how much it is going to cost. That's typically the fundamental question around which the whole renovation rotates. Timing is the second critical point, and as you can see in Emma and James' case, there is a deadline because the baby is arriving and the renovation has to be done before that. And where do they start? Do they ask for a builder first to get quotes, or do they speak to an architect to get the design done? So it's like not having enough clarity as to whom to approach. So these are the typical common questions that would happen even in other forms of renovations, but I think more so with Emma and James in their specific, because they've never done a renovation before. Next slide, please. So they approach Refresh Renovation. They come across Refresh Renovation website, and first question that can come in a potential client's mind is, what does Refresh do? This page is a good summary of the amount of the types of renovation that we undertake. Primarily, we are dealing with all forms of residential renovation. However, in addition to that, we're also dealing with design for clients. So it is an A to Z route with Refresh. There is no loss of communication. We understand the client's vision right from the start through the design phase, and then we deliver it through our build phase. Then generally clients want to know that, have you done these kind of renovations before? So on our website, for each of these categories that you see, you will see loads of photos of projects that have been delivered through Refresh Network. And in terms of the help that Refresh provides, we have a very structured, clearly defined process that allows us to keep a control over the cost and time of a renovation project. for clients. So the answers to the common question that Emma and James had, our refresh website provides a lot of information on it. Plus, when we start engaging with clients and doing the consultations, we take them through that phase as well. Next slide, please.
Mm.
So the five-step process that I was referring to is given over here. The first part is the initial consultation. We make an effort to actually go on the site because just looking at photographs or just talking on the phone sometimes is not enough. And once we are at the site, we can better advise clients of what the options are available to them, plus how they could plan their renovation journey in case they wanted to stage it or split it into different phases. After the initial consultation, we come to the next step, which is scoping and feasibility, in which we try to understand whether the client's budget would fit their scope of work and help them create a bridge between the two. If that step is sorted, then we go to the next step where we would do a detailed planning and costing exercise. And at that stage, we can come to the client with a fixed price quotation to start their project. And finally, we get into the build stage. The build stage is delivered through project management within an agreed time scale. And ultimately, we get to project completion. So in a nutshell, that's the tried and tested, structured five-step process that Refresh would follow for every project, big or small. Every project would go through the same process for our clients. Next slide, please. So if I had to sort of further help you visualize those five steps, there is as much emphasis given to the pre-construction phase as much there is on the construction phase itself or the build phase. And we believe that if you start right, you finish right. So the planning or initial understanding of the project, the vision, the budget is scoping and feasibility, which is the first part. And once you have clarified that, then you get into the actual designing costing phase. And more details will come on this through my colleague Salim in a short while. And then once the design and costing stage is complete, then we launch into the build phase. We are not in a hurry to start the build phase because we don't want you to spend your money and then still feel that your vision that you had in your mind hasn't been achieved. So the emphasis on pre-construction phase allows us to understand your vision and deliver a project as per your specifics and your vision. Next slide, please. So Salima, if you would like to, I think, take over the next stage
Yes,
of
thank you.
Emma and James' journey with Refresh Renovations.
In the case of Emma and James, it is important to have understood what they wanted to achieve. Well, obviously, they had a constraint, which is starting the project and finishing it before the newborn comes in. What happened next is they jumped on a call, and Emma and James jumped on a call for 30 minutes. We call it a discovery call and a planning call. And they shared what they wanted to achieve. Like Ali was saying, it's all about trying to understand whether your vision, your brief for the project is aligned with your timescale, with your budget, with your wishes, with your nice to haves, with your must haves. And all of that is part of the initial consultation. Once Emma and James had had a chat with Sam, Sam then went and created a fee proposal with a clear roadmap that is tailored for their roadmap, for their timeline, and their price breakdown. So from the very beginning, it is very possible to understand what is it that you want and does it align with your budget, because it's part of the discussion, and then understanding what is going to be the cost all the way through from planning to scoping and feasibility to detail design all the way to the build stage, and whether the build stage does actually need to be phased or not, and so on and so forth. Usually cost is very much part of the process and is very much discussed at the very beginning, in the middle, and at the end as the project is going on. In this instance, The project scope and feasibility started with visualizing the space, understanding what is it that they're trying to achieve on a very high level, and then going into the second stage. The design stage is a development of the scoping and feasibility, where it goes into further detailing the design and trying to understand what are the finishes that we are trying to achieve as a whole. Because it's important to understand what the kitchen would look like, what the flooring would have in terms of finishes, what the worktop, and all of these materials bringing in together as we are showing in the materials palette on the bottom right corner. In this instance, Emma and James worked with Edo, one of our designers, and then Edo aligned the design with their expectations, and then they came up with a palette of materials that reflects their wishes. And the materials that they've chosen aligned with the rest of the house, because in this instance, the renovation was talking about the kitchen space and the dining space only. And then from there on, the cost was agreed. There was a bit of a back and forth, I think I remember, between what they wanted to achieve and how that is aligned with their project. And this is what we ended up doing. Emma and James were introduced to the project manager during the build stage, and he was the one point of contact. Actually, it was Edo who took on that project. So she was the one point of contact between the client and the build team who were working on site, and that allowed Emma and James to comfortably look after their family and cater for the newborn as the renovation is being conducted. And obviously, this required a lot of coordination between us and them, because they decided to stay at the property. It is not advisable to do so, but in this case, we actually managed to do it, and everything went smoothly. And this is the picture of it after the property has been completed. Shall we talk about the fast track or the tips? Ali, do you want to take that over?
Well, I think the point is that every renovation will have its own specific challenges, and no properties will be similar to another one. So every project will have its own unique challenges. However, the earlier you start, the better, because it gives you enough time to explore the best possible options, explore the best prices available from suppliers. It allows you to translate your vision into drawings, and then go through changes and iterations. So it gives you enough time to transfer the vision onto paper and then be happy with the design before it is agreed and building work starts. So planning early is, we would highly recommend that. Also, if there are any planning permissions required, or any specific approvals that are needed, then at least all of that time is not wasted, and you don't have to rush. Also, a lot of customers have deadlines. Like in Emma and James' case, a baby was arriving, or there could be a holiday plan, or there could be a wedding plan in the house. So if those are the cases, then we would highly recommend to plan early, so that all of your time is then spent into doing the project properly. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, there is help, of course, available from us as an expert to guide you through these. But it's important for the homeowners to understand what is allowed, what is permitted, what is not, and how can they solve the pain point through what option. Every option will have its own cost associated. So our aim will be to find the most suitable solution in addressing the pain point. Sometimes maybe extending less might solve the problem, or remodeling the internal layout of the house might solve the problem rather than just extending. And then, as I said, each option will have its own specific permissions and permission needed, and then the costs associated. So again, also linked with the first tip was, if you're starting early, you have enough time to understand all the permissions and the costs available. So we can be a better team for you if you have enough time to work on your renovation project. Next slide, please. I think this is quite important because sometimes homeowners would want to have their own specific supplier for a product, or they might want to um, use a specific, for example, electrician that they know already. So part of the work is given to one partner, but then some of the work they want to get done themselves. There is no harm in it. However, in our experience, we feel that it can bring in unnecessary delays in the project because of lack of coordination and lack of control. Also, because we offer design and build services, so if we are engaged on the whole project from start to finish, there is no loss of communication, and that is really critical. The Our aim is to understand the vision and deliver it within the agreed budget and time. And we really, really work well if we are that your partner in renovating from design to build. Next slide, please. Um, Also, sometimes the renovation project could be large. It might involve, for example, a loft conversion and an extension, or it might have a bathroom and kitchen together. And because of circumstances or budget, all of that cannot be done in one go. So there is no problem in actually staging it or phasing it out to suit your timing, your availability, your budget. However, what's important is that the master plan or the whole uh, blueprint is actually created initially, so that all of these smaller stages of innovation are part of a unified vision. What you don't want to happen, what you don't want to see happen, is that the renovation is done in small bits and pieces, and it is disjointed. So on their own they're okay, but as a whole they don't work. So that will be important, that the master plan is done, and then we help you decide which parts of it you could do in phases to control the budget and the time for your project. Next slide, please. Salim, this I think would be clearly where I think you could share some of your
Yeah,
tips and your experiences.
I think best of all is actually enjoying the renovation, because that is a point in time which you will remember for a long, long time. And so, on the back of the fourth tip, I think selecting and choosing the right partner, and they are a partner because you will remember them for a long, long time. Whether they do a good job or not so good job, you will remember them. You will be talking about them in good or not so. Our clients, the majority of our clients talk about us in good faith, because we not only look after them during the renovation, but also aftercare. And we have our aftercare, which spans 3 to 6 months. We're always there. We are not people who we're a company, we're a serious company, we're a global company that exists in New Zealand, in the UK, in America, and each company operates with local expertise. So we are accountable. We never disappear from a project after we finished it, and therefore it is very much important that any person taken on a project feels that there is someone out there that they can go back and talk to. And I think Ollie has been very much at the center of this, because he looks after the clients just like Ali does, just like I do. And I don't know, Ollie, do you want to contribute to this in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Salim, and hello, everybody. So for me, from all of this, there's two key takeaways that are going to ensure success here, right? So number one is you just you can't start planning early enough, and you can't spend enough time planning. So if I was in a position where I had a renovation planned to finish by the end of this year, time's obviously of the essence. First thing I would do is appoint a qualified architect or designer, and make sure that any permissions, permits, regulations, etc., are identified as early as possible, and that the correct course of action to overcome those obstacles is underway as soon as possible. Secondly, you're going to be spending a lot of time. Salim mentioned decision fatigue earlier, and that's a big thing on any renovation project. There's so many things you've got to decide upon: kitchens, worktops, even lighting. So many things that you can't even think of off the top of your head. You'll have to make these decisions. So start visiting local showrooms or suppliers, and we've got a great network of suppliers all around London that if you contact us, we'll be able to introduce you to. But start making as many decisions as possible, as early as possible, so that you're not just winging it in the middle of the project, and that there's before the project commences, as many decisions as possible are decided upon up front. And then thirdly, make sure that you define a detailed scope of work and specification for the project as soon as you possibly can. So working with an architect will be great to do that. Working with a builder, if you're just working with a builder and you put your builder before an architect, it's very likely that you're going to get the scope of work, the specification is going to be very, very limited, which leads me to my second point. Key takeaway to ensure success: synergy between the designers and the builders. And this is why at Refresh we believe that the design and build process is the best outcome for everybody, because the architects, the designers, the tradespeople, the subcontractors, the builders, they've all got a very, very close-knit relationship. They've all worked together before. They all understand each other's processes, each other's drawings, each other's working methodologies. And so whatever you do, as long as your designer and your builder have got a good relationship, that's probably the number one success factor to any project. And the counter side of that is it's the number one thing that can cause issues on any project, is if there is a breakdown in the communication or no existing relationship between the people who are designing and the people who are actually building. If there's not a synergistic relationship there, that's got potential to cause all sorts of problems when you get to the build stage. So this is why at Refresh we believe design and build is the best approach. However, if you've already got a builder, or you've already got an architect, just make sure that their counterpart, who's actually going to be either designing it or undertaking the build, make sure they've got a pre-existing relationship, and that's going to make sure that things run smoothly when you're handing over from design stage to build stage.
Thank you, Ollie. I think we can end it with an invite. We are inviting you to the Home Build and Renovation Show at the Excel in September. It'll be very nice to have you, to answer all your questions. And with regards to a prize that we are offering, actually, we are offering a 3D renovation design of your project. So we will announce that by the end of the year, and it will be also if you come and visit us at the Excel, we will also be offering that to you if you come and sign up. And so by the end of the year, we'll be announced a winner who will take on a free consultation and a free 3D design that we can offer for their renovation project. Is there any question? If there's any question, please unmute yourself and ask, or if you can just write it in the chat if you don't want to unmute yourself, but feel free to do so, please. Okay, I don't think we have any questions. Well, thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely evening. We are 7 o'clock on the dot. It took 30 minutes, which is very good. And I wish you all a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.